All right, so how do you feel about the whole campaign and this event, where things are going?
Well, I think that the campaign as a monolithic entity, I mean, if you want to call it that, the grand scheme of the campaign is a good thing. It's about education. It gets people into the liberty movement, and for that, I think it's a great thing. As far as politics, I'm disappointed in the campaign. I would like to see them, basically, I think they've sold out a lot of their principles for political capital that I don't think is worth very much. They're getting stuff inserted into their GOP platform, which is going to be ignored. If there is a Fed audit, we know it's going to be a superficial audit. That's not really going to mean much. So I just feel like Ron and Rand Paul could have done a lot more for liberty had they stuck to their guns and had principles. Because here I am for the past 2 years preaching about Ron Paul being the only one with principles, and now we get down to the wire and it's like he's compromising those principles. And now I've got people, neocons that I tried to convert, saying, oh, see, look, he's just a politician like the rest of them, so Ron Paul wasn't any different. And what can I say? I can't argue. Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, certainly his voting record overall is much better than any of them. So, but I'm a little disappointed in that. I would have liked to see a more principled stance to the end. I would have liked to see him fight for the nomination till the end. There's a lot of people that believe there's some kind of secret strategy, and in the last minute they're going to pull some kind of crazy trick and
to invoke anger.
Yeah, and everything's going to, and then Ron Paul's going to be the nominee. It's not, I really don't see that happening short of a miracle. So.
The Fed thing's fairly interesting for those of us that have been promoting in the Fed.
Sure.
It's interesting because, for years before they've called for ending the Fed, so-called conspiracy theorists have talked about a world currency.
Sure.
And they've theorized that the Federal Reserve decades ago has been designed to fail, and its 100-year charter is up in 2013. We're not too far away from that.
Yeah.
So do you find it kind of interesting that that's kind of the claim to fame for him right now, and that's being championed as a major success? But I'm really curious as to what that's going to bring, and I'm also curious what the proposed solution would be for an alternative currency system outside the Federal Reserve, and that's not something I'm hearing from anyone.
Well, I think an alternative would be freedom. The freedom to use whatever we choose as currency, whether that's gold, silver, whatever. I mean, if we want to talk about the Republic, then constitutionally speaking, it should be a gold-backed currency. I would like to see, and Ron Paul has advocated for this in End the Fed. Basically, he said if you allow competing currencies, if those currencies are more stable, people are naturally going to gravitate towards them. The Fed is going to end itself because it will have become irrelevant. So I think that that's a great, very peaceful way to phase out a system that's full of corruption, crony capitalism, and needs to be done away with. Do I see that? Do I think that that's going to happen now? No.
Do you believe that we're awake enough at this stage in the game to organize amongst each other and put aside religion's dogma, but most of all, ego, to actually communicate and start doing things instead of putting our eggs in one basket? Do you think that we're arriving at that point?
Yes, I think that we are. I think that the liberty movement, there is a spiritual aspect to the liberty movement that I see accelerating, and it's very exciting. To me, it's more exciting, and that's why, for me, focusing on voluntarism and agorism and those venues they're more spiritual than politics. I think the politics is kind of like the entry point. People come in, they get involved in the Ron Paul campaign, they go out, they do whatever, get signatures and politic, and hopefully, and I think that this is happening, and I see this accelerating, that people are moving very quickly through the kind of spiritual journey that is the liberty movement, and I'm extremely encouraged by that. And so I think that is the very reason, because liberty is a spiritual, to me, I believe it's a very spiritual thing. More important than the politics is the community building aspect. And so I go around and I speak at a lot of events, and I try to talk about the 1 foot in the matrix, 1 foot out of the matrix method of activism. So be involved in politics, have 1 foot in the matrix, but that is to meet the people that are activists, that are people that are already involved, and then say, look, this is not the answer. Government's not the answer. You're not going to be free because of government. Government's the opposite of freedom. But let me show you the real path to freedom. And then you pull them out, and now they start down the real liberty journey. And I think that that's a lot more effective.
You're talking about bridging the gap.
Yeah. So it's like now you can exist in both planes. Like in the movie Matrix, Neo had to go back into the Matrix to wake people up and to pull them out, right? So because it was too shocking to just unplug them.